Hey now, folks. It's good to be back in proper Los Angeles. I was up north this weekend. Thanks to the great people of Fresno and Bakersfield. That's real America up there. That's some flag waving, sitting on the porch, drinking lemonade kind of country. And it's only 2 hours away. Well, Fresno's 4 hours away and Bakersfield's 2 hours away. So I got in my car. I felt like a Boston comic again. I felt like I was just starting out, getting in the car, driving to a gig. It's not like the gigs weren't necessarily comedy clubs. One was more of a rock club and the other one was more of like a almost like a banquet hall in Fresno for some veterans. Great fucking crowd. I'm not kidding you, man. These fucking, give me some more shows for vets. They come out to laugh and you can shit on them. I mean, it was so much fun. And I didn't know how it was going to be. You know, it was a little chaotic. And I felt bad because these were like genuine, like, vets. And like during my show, I was like, okay, after the show, I'm going to be selling my pins. I got my tour pins with me. And I'll be selling them for $10 after the show and pick one up, take it home. Yeah. And then I finish my set and this guy gets up on stage and he's like a lieutenant general, colonel, private, whatever the fuck, I don't know ranks, but he's some kind of bigwig. And he starts handing out these coins. I forget what they call them, but they're given to people. Like he said, first, anybody here done one tour of duty? And they come up, 2 tours of duty. Got all the way up to some guy had done 7 tours of duty. And he's giving them these coins, and people are giving them standing ovations and tears, and it's meaningful. And then they finish that, and as they're streaming out, I'm standing there at my little fucking cocktail table filled with pins going, hey, you gonna give me $10 for one of my pins now? You heroes? They're fucking heroes streaming past me. People that put their lives on the line for this country, that leave behind babies for a year, 2 years, 3 years. They don't see their fucking kid so that they can fight for this country. And I'm like, I got a pin. Oh, I should have signed up for the Army when I had a chance. I don't think they would have let me. I got flat feet, asthma, and ADD. Is that enough? Will that keep me out? Fucking veterans, they all look you in the eye, though. They got a confidence about them that gets drilled into you. I think it's not the worst thing in the world for a troubled kid to get sent into the military. Maybe not the Marines, but, you know, the Army. Sure. And then I was in Bakersfield. There was no air conditioning. It was 105 degrees. So I did not leave my hotel room except to run across the highway to a Starbucks and get a fucking bad lunch. And then I get to the show in the green room. The air conditioner's broken. So it's about 107 in the green room. And the first show went good. Second show, I don't know what happened, but fucking crowd was horrible. And everybody was bombing. Bomb, bomb, bomb. Bombity, bombity, bombity. And I'm sitting in the back sweating in the green room going, oh, this sucks. And I'm you know, debating whether to drive home or stay in my hotel room again because it really is only an hour and a half drive. But so I got out. God, it's just so weird that a group of people will go out to a comedy club and not laugh, like especially after the night before where it was magic. It was really like a great night. And then this is just like, it just goes to show you the fucking bipolar nature of stand-up comedy. And you can't really, there's no science to it. You can make the room dark. You can, you know, I mean, the room being hot definitely hurts. You want a cool room. But beyond that, there's a lot of factors that go in and it's kind of random. But they were fine. I turned it around. It wasn't a great show, but I turned it, I survived. I didn't sell my pins afterwards. Got in my car. I fucking walked out. Got my check, walked out, drove home, listened to a podcast, listened to, what did I listen to? Mark Maron had, Who did he have on? I can't remember. Oh, Jesus Trejo. If you haven't seen Jesus Trejo, he's hysterical. I got to get him on my podcast. He's the guy that he used to open for me sometimes, and he's a store regular. Really fucking sharp, up-and-coming guy. I'm going to get him on. Anyway, got home. Wife was still awake. She waited up for me, and it was like 1:30 in the morning. Threw a move on her, got shot down. Re-threw in the morning. Success. So it's all about the rebound, guys. Don't forget about the rebound. It's not about the first slap shot from the blue line. Get in the fucking crease afterwards. Look for a freebie. And then what did I do? Oh, God. And then Sunday, I was so many things I wanted to do. And then I don't know why, but I looked up the Isle of Wight. I was thinking about what are the greatest rock concerts of all time. Because this behind me over my shoulder was apparently a great one. Jimi Hendrix in San Francisco in 1967. I got the concert poster up. And he did an outdoor concert. But then I was thinking about other great outdoor concerts. And I looked up the Isle of Wight, The Who. I think that was 1970. And there were 600,000 people at a music festival. And The Who went on at 2 o'clock in the morning. And the show was so fucking great, they turned it into a double album, which is considered one of the greatest live albums ever made. And I didn't realize they filmed it. And I found it on YouTube. And I, of course, had to sit there for an hour and 45 minutes and watch Keith Moon just kick the shit out of a set of drums. That guy plays with just reckless abandon and this devilish smile on his face, and he's the ultimate rock drummer. He was incredible. Such a shame that he died, but he had to die. It was part of it. And watching Pete Townsend in a white jumpsuit doing the windmill on a short neck guitar. Either it's short necked or he's taller than I thought, but that guitar looks fucking tiny in his hands, and he's playing rhythm and lead guitar at the same time. John Entwistle on bass is just, his right fingers are just thumping on the bass. And how does he not, an hour and 45 minutes, how does your hand not cramp up thumping those fucking bass strings like that? And, Roger Daltrey, who's just gorgeous with his long hair, and he's just a front man to end all front men. I mean, people talk about the Stones being the greatest live band of all time. I'd put The Who up there. Maybe better. They may be better in their prime. Just a 4-man powerhouse of a band. And then on Sunday, also I finished a book. I read a book in 2 days. There's a book called End of the Affair, and I reread it because I read it first many years ago in New York, and then when I was cleaning out my Aunt Joe's basement, I found a collection. I had a lot of books. I had like a bookshelf, and I only grabbed about 10 books. They were all kind of moldy. They've been in a basement for 25 years now. And so I grabbed Graham Greene, End of the Affair, because I just remember loving it. Holy shit. It was just a masterpiece. Great fucking novel. And it's, and it's like, Graham Greene is like, he was Catholic, and there was this school of writing they called like the Catholic writers, or like a Catholic novel that he wrote. And it was about a guy having an affair, obviously. They made it into a movie that apparently is great. I have to see it. It's got, who's in it? Anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is, like, it's a book that in the end kind of praises Catholicism. The protagonist, who's an atheist, in the end comes around, and it's about God and miracles, and which I don't believe in. I certainly have refuted that stuff myself. I had believed in it, and I've rejected it, but I still read the book, and I still got it. I understood it, and it made me think about like this hearing that's going on right now with the House committee investigating the January 6th attack. and about how it's getting covered in the media. And depending on what media you watch, if you watch CNN or MSNBC, it's on round the clock. And if you go to Fox News, they literally are not covering the event. Like, I even went to the Fox News website, and there is not a mention on the website that the Attorney General of the United States under Trump is now saying that all of Trump's claims about the election being fraudulent are a lie, and that this was explained to him, and instead he took the advice of a drunken Rudy Giuliani. Anyway, I don't want to get political because I respect the people who are out there. They don't listen to this podcast for politics. I'm not a policy wonk. I'm not a fucking academic. I don't read enough or understand enough to stand here and preach. But can we also just say, but I'm a Democrat. I don't wear it on my sleeve, but I'm a Democrat. But I don't want to and I respect that so many of my listeners may not agree with me politically, but they still listen, and I respect that. And I think we need more of that. I certainly listen to Joe Rogan, who definitely skews to the right of me. I read stuff on Breitbart. I check in. I read the New York Post when I'm in New York. I kind of check out what's going on, because how do I know what I don't believe if I haven't fucking researched it, if I haven't, given myself the opportunity to possibly embrace it? And so I'm not telling anybody embrace my views, but I am saying this. We are at a turning point in our democracy right now, and that's not an understatement. Right now, we are at a point where one of the parties is claiming that the election was false, and there are a significant number of Americans that believed that Joe Biden was not fairly elected, and that's problematic. And what's really problematic is that those people are not looking at any other news sources besides, because look, if you're just going to listen to Fox News and subscribe to these podcasts, of course you're going to believe that the election was stolen. If you're watching this movie, what's it called, like 2,000 Mules or something, which has been completely debunked. And again, I'm not saying you're stupid. I'm not saying you're evil. I'm just saying take a time out and just look at some other sources and see if possibly this election was not fraudulent, and that in fact, if we start believing the elections are rigged, we no longer have a democracy. It's as simple as that. This election was, there were many investigations about fraud. They all came back negative. And I'm talking about government-led, Republican-appointed people doing investigations. Came back, 50 of them, saying there was no abnormalities in the voting. So just please open yourself up to that possibility and look into it, because otherwise we're going down a really fucking dangerous road. Anyway, I don't want to talk politics. You're right. Or you've tuned out and unsubscribed. I don't know. That's what this world has come down to. You can't even listen to somebody else's opinion. How about this guy's opinion? Let's do some overheards. Here's some overheards. This guy, Michael Zaccaro, that was my dentist name when I was growing up in Tarrytown, New York, Dr. Zaccaro. And I think he was sleeping with the dental hygienist. I was never sure. I can say that now. He must have passed away. He was old back then. Good dentist. Not the best breath, which is not a trait you want. That's not a quality you want as a dentist. So this guy says, I was jogging on a wooded trail in a local state park in Connecticut, ran by a girl walking the opposite way, talking on the phone, and she exclaimed to the person on the phone, quote, "It's sort of like a streaming Pandora service for angry lesbians." All right. As he says, I want to know more. He says she was wearing jorts, which are jean shorts, and a tie-dye windbreaker. And it's a streaming Pandora service for angry lesbians. Is Lilith Fair do they have a streaming channel? I happen to love most angry lesbian music. Indigo Girls, fucking sign me up. Love the Indigo Girls. I like Alanis Morissette. I don't know, who are the big... Kate Bush? Sure. Love it. Love me some angry lesbian music. Landry Wilson says, not quite an overheard, but saw a boy around 9 following his hot mom in short shorts at CVS, staring at her ass almost hanging out. Now, there is a way to fuck up your son. There you go. Be a mom with a hot ass that walks around in short shorts in front of your 9-year-old. Prepubescent. More confusing. If he was going through puberty, he might even be able to handle it. But at 9, you don't even know that. Those hormones are in there in low doses, and something's starting to happen, and you're not sure what it is. But that motherfucker has a fetish for short shorts right now at 9, and it's only going to get worse. Or better. I guess that's not the worst thing to have, right? Some people have fetishes that they're peed on. Imagine that. This guy, Jacob Schaefer, said, I'm at my kid's Little League game, saw some 9-year-old waddle up to the plate in an oversized replica Orioles jersey with an oversized bat. The score, who knows? Mom says, they're losing. You should go help him. Dad says, I already tried. Mom looks at her phone. Dad looks at her, looks at his phone. And timestamp 2022. Let me tell you something about being a parent. That is a moment. That is an opportunity lost, and I lost many of them. There are times, to this day, even with my kids being 18 and 21, there are times where you see that your kid needs help, and you debate whether or not they're supposed to figure it out on their own or whether you're supposed to support them. And you're never going to know if you were right or wrong, because you don't want their resentment, and you don't want them feeling squelched, and you want them to feel empowered. But at the same time, did that fucking kid need the dad to say, hey, keep your right elbow up, kid? Step into it. Keep your eye on the ball. Or step into the pitch and get a fucking take one for the team, whatever. But instead, you just look at your phone. And that's a moment where you feel a little bit sad, and you feel a little bit of your humanity slip away from you. And then finally, Meep Zork. That's the person's name? Hey, Greg, listening to Sunday Papers right now. Best way to start the day. Anyway, long story short, I went through the ringer with ketamine, and it actually worked. The brand I put in the subject line is the one insurance will cover. Oh, maybe that's Meep Zork. So ask your doctor about that if you decide to go that route. In the meantime, I'm banging my head against the wall trying to get my foot in the door on microdosing, trying to not get scammed. If you could point me in the right direction, I'd appreciate it. Well, listen, I can't start sending out mushrooms through the mail. I've talked about I'm microdosing. I've been doing it for over 2 weeks. I'm on mushrooms right now. You can't even tell because it's a microdose. I came across them through somebody who gets them sent in jars from right from the factory in Colorado where they're decriminalized. And so it's labeled, it's marked, it's legit. If you can try to get your hands on some good Colorado, that's the way to go. I don't know how you find that. I don't know if you can do it online. I would imagine you can, right? I don't know. You got to know a friend who knows a friend who can get you mushrooms. That's part of being an adult. Come on. But we're all seeking mental health, right? Look, I've been burnt out. I'm burnt out now. I need a week off. And you got to find that in yourself. So you got to find that time for yourself if you're feeling burnt out. Sometimes I'm doing doing 3 podcasts, going on the road on the weekend, trying to deal with social media, writing a script, trying to sell a game show, and then be a good dad, be a good husband, be a good friend, be a good son, be a good brother. There's a lot. And you can get burnt out, and you need to resource yourself. You know, that's why you have BetterHelp. Now a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. They're an online therapy that wants to remind you to prioritize yourself, because if you talk to somebody else who's an expert about mental health, you're going to face the day a little bit stronger, a little bit more resourced, a little bit more in touch with your emotions, a little braver, a little more vulnerable. I've been talking to somebody from BetterHelp since right when the pandemic started, and I don't know how I would get by without it. And it isn't to say you got to sign up for therapy and do it for the rest of your life. You may need it for, it's nice to go in with a goal and say, right now I'm having trouble quitting drinking. I'm having trouble relating to my child, or whatever it is. Have a goal, go in, accomplish it, and take a break. That's what I do. I don't stay in it forever. I think you need to go out on your own as well. But if you're going to go with therapy, BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, even live chat sessions with your therapist. You don't need to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. Much more affordable than in person, not even close. And you can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. Our listeners get 20% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/Fitzdog. That's BetterHelp.com/Fitzdog. Get involved. Get involved. All right, now you're going to get involved with my guest. He's an old dear friend. He's a guy that I came up with in New York 25 years ago. And we have played on ice hockey teams in New York and LA. And he's a fellow road warrior like me. He is on the road all these years, banging it out, killing. This motherfucker kills in the clubs. He does a lot of crowd work. He does a lot of in-the-moment stuff. You can see him. He's got some dates coming up in Raleigh and Irvine. He was in a top 5 finisher in Last Comic Standing. He's been on Conan, The Tonight Show, Adam Carolla, Maron's podcast, Howard Stern. Anyway, he's got some specials out you can find, and you're going to love him. We just chatted this week. Here's my friend Ian Bagg. We're here. We're here, ready to go. We're very present. We're very grounded. Did we ever take an acting?
There's an acting class just down the street.
Did we ever take an acting class together? I feel like we did. Sally Johnson, maybe.
No, maybe.
She had a lazy eye. There's an acting teacher in New York named Sally Johnson. She's got a lazy eye, and so whenever she would like talk to the class, like you would do a scene, and then afterwards she'd be like, "What you did was really strong." And I think that what you want to do is up your energy, but like you couldn't tell who she was looking at.
You also didn't know if she hated it because she couldn't make eye contact. That's so embarrassed.
Right? Is she an insecure acting teacher, or am I a bad actor?
You think she'd book all the time? Just that we need a cross-eyed girl.
Yeah,
Boom.
right. Do you watch Barry?
Yes.
Jesus Christ. Henry Winkler is so brilliant.
Good.
I think he got the Emmy for it.
I don't know. I see you have trophies, but I never.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a big Emmy guy.
He's so good in it.
Yeah.
So I was in Phoenix this weekend, and there was a dude, and I thought it might be Henry Winkler.
Uh-huh.
And I was just like looking. He's too close to actually be Henry Winkler.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, oh, it's Henry Winkler.
Yeah.
But he's curled his hair a little bit, and he's got his shirt open, and then afterwards you're like, oh, it's not Henry Winkler.
It's not Henry Winkler. Shit.
Yeah, I would have loved it if it had been him.
He is definitely like, for people our age, and I think you're a little younger than me, but you're in my age range.
51?
I'm 56.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Good for you, Grandpa.
I know.
Sorry.
How about me?
Yeah.
Erectile dysfunction, hemorrhoids,
Nice.
Everything. It's
Taking
fucking
it all.
awesome.
Oh.
Yeah.
Isn't it weird when you were a kid how 56 was completely different now that you're 56?
Yeah.
Like I was talking the other day with my buddy. We will go for these walks and we go by this school, and I'm like, there's always hot moms here.
Yeah.
And I don't remember one hot mom from when I was a kid. Right? So was
Moms were washed up by 32 years old.
they were gray by 22.
Yes, they were chain smoking parliaments,
Yes.
and they were having highballs at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah.
Yeah.
No sunblock.
Yeah. I can't imagine if somebody's mom showed up in yoga pants.
Yeah, right. Yoga pants. Are you shitting me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just like, oh, it's such a different world.
Dude, my father died at 53 and I'm 56. That's existential. That's when you go like, my father, who looked like an old man,
right,
never lived to be my age.
And you look younger than him than when, yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, and then you go back and you look at pictures from like the 1930s, and women all had like that weird curly hair, and they all had horse faces. They
all look like Mormons, but like Mormon fundamentalists.
Exactly.
And their hair looked so thick.
Yes.
Like they were just like, were they wearing like horse tails or what were they? It was just.
And they had pancaked makeup or something.
That didn't help. That didn't help at all.
Yeah.
It could stop a bullet, but it didn't make them pretty.
Right.
Yeah.
Although when I was a teenager, there was, I worked at a country club as a parking attendant. And I was like, 17 years old. And there was this one mom, Mrs. Fischetti, and she had a Jaguar XJ6.
Wow.
Red.
Dude, that's why right there, right?
And she used to come in, and she would have fucking good music playing. She would have like, what the hell would she play? Just like good classic rock would be cranked on the radio. And then she'd get out and she wore this perfume called Tea Rose. And I'll always remember it. I actually asked her. I was a little pervert. I'm like, what kind of perfume do you wear? So I can put it on a rag and cover my face with it later.
Oh, God.
And so she'd get out in a cloud of Tea Rose with like, Bon Jovi cranking on the radio. And she'd step out in a little golf skirt.
Oh my God, I'm getting hard.
And so one time, I was, and so then I got into the car, and then I went to step on the brake to put the car into drive, but the radio was so loud I had my foot on the accelerator.
No.
And I put it into drive. And I laid down like 5 feet of rubber, and I stopped the car, and I looked back, she was yelling at me, and she went like this, thumbs up.
No way.
Yes,
No.
yes.
Oh my God. Was she a trophy wife though, or was she? Do you think?
Her husband is a famous lawyer named Ron Fischetti, who represented John Gotti. He was Gotti's lawyer.
Yeah.
And so. And now he's representing Trump in the New York case.
Never gonna get paid.
He's never going to get paid.
He's never gonna get paid.
I know.
How does anybody take that gig?
And it can't be. I guess it's good for your reputation. I don't know.
If you don't want to be paid again. Well, I didn't pay him. Why would I pay him? Yeah. Are you watching? I don't. I'm blanking on the name of the show, but it's got Julia Roberts and Sean Penn in it. It's about the Watergate scandal.
Really?
Yeah. So that's a good look, because Julia Roberts is still hot, but so you're like, I wonder what this lady looked like. Like, even though they try to ugly her up,
yeah,
she's still hot.
Yeah, you can't ugly down Julia Roberts.
So
yeah.
So you go look at the pictures of this woman, you're like, nowhere near. Like, apparently she was hot, and you're like, no, nowhere near. But it's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and drinking and pill popping and yeah.
Well, I have a Julia Roberts connection because my wife used to be her assistant.
Oh, really?
And that's why you and I played on a hockey team with Tim Robbins.
Yeah, I forgot.
And Tim shared an office with Julia, so I actually knew Tim before we played hockey together.
Through Julia,
because I'd come to the office, and he was a super friendly guy. He's actually, I think he's got a reputation for being a little bit aloof, but I didn't find him to be that way at all. I found him to be very friendly.
He was always friendly, and I think when you get to that stature, you don't just give, right?
Yeah.
You gotta break through a little bit of glass to get, to that point. And I think if you connect with him on something, boom, you're off and running.
I remember I was backstage at some event. There was some event that he was at that we got invited to. It was Dead Man Walking. Did he produce Dead Man Walking or direct it?
I have no idea.
Somehow I was at the party for that, and we were backstage, and I remember I was talking to him, and a woman came over, and you know how it is with famous people. It's like you're not standing there.
Right.
You're in the middle of talking, and the woman just goes, "Tim, I met you back at," and he stopped, and he went, "Excuse me, I'm talking to my friend," and my heart swelled. I was like, "I'm Tim Robbins' friend."
Hold on, is he using me for a scene? And then a cross-eyed lady came out and said, "Here's what I liked."
Raise your energy. Be more annoyed by this woman who's intruding.
Me or him? Oh, God. He was so nice, though. He was so... And he took us all out for dinner, remember, afterwards?
Right. Well, we played in this league, and it was the Police and Firemen's Hockey League. Yeah. And this was pre-9/11, so it was very sad because...
2000, right?
It was 2000, yeah. So it was like the year before 9/11, and we knew all these guys, and just God knows how many of them got lost.
I never even wanted to look.
Yeah.
Just didn't.
And the league was, but they were good guys. And then there was one team that had like entertainers on it, and it was us, like me, you, and Tim, and who else was on that team?
Rob Carlson, who was a writer actor. He was, and I'm trying to think. We had a couple ex-NHL guys that kind of just played for a cup of coffee.
Oh, that's right. And you know who else played sometimes was Mike Richter's wife.
Oh, yeah.
She was good.
Yeah. She was great. So, and I'm trying to think, and there was two other actors, but I'm blanking on who they were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we won the league. We went all the way.
Champions.
And I mean, there is no bigger Rangers
fan.
Have
that trophy up there.
Did you get a trophy?
No. I like the way you're
Somebody got it.
Trophy? I think we gave it to Tim.
We must have. We must have. But so there's no bigger Rangers fan than Tim Robbins. Like he just is obsessed with them. And then he became good friends with Mike Richter, which is how his wife was skating with us.
Right.
And and he's, and he was an okay hockey player, but he was very tall, so he was an effective defenseman.
Yeah, he's lanky.
But I got the sense that he'd never been on a winning team before. And
that's funny.
And we won.
That's probably why we gave him the trophy.
Yes.
He told us he was keeping it.
He was.
He said, "Excuse me, I'm talking to my friend."
He's drinking champagne out of it. And so he took us all out. Yeah, we went out for steaks and cigars. And
I don't know about you. I don't know. For me, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I was panicking. Like, what was I cutting out of my budget for the next month as we were doing it? And then he's going, "I'm picking it up." I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, this is the best night ever.
Yes.
So.
I know.
Yeah.
And that was, but
smart to do, though. Don't tell you until afterwards so you don't go nuts.
Right. Right. So. Then I found out, you told me that he got you your first acting job, your first film acting job.
Yeah, he just, he obviously knew, but I never said to him, "Hey, I'm a comedian," or anything. I just never said to him. And he just said, "Hey, will you come in and audition for a role in a movie?" And I said, "Yeah." So he had me audition, and then he gave me another part.
Wow.
So, but I learned that he...
What was the movie?
It was The Cradle Will Rock.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, so I played theater worker, and I went to some communist busting, and it was with Bill Murray.
Yeah.
My scenes, which was great.
Wow.
And he said,
"That's amazing."
And he goes, "I really like your voice," and you're just like, "I'm walking on sunshine." So don't even want to do the rest of this. I just want to go home now and sleep happily forever. Bill Murray said, "I have a nice voice."
Was he funny on set?
Yeah, but just holding court the whole time.
He was.
Yeah. So you don't bug him. You just watch it. You're just in awe.
Just telling stories.
Yeah. Talking to people wanting to talk to him, people from the neighborhood, because we did it in, apartment buildings, I want to say Lower Harlem.
Okay.
And just talking to everybody in the building.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was great. And then Tim's mom was in the scene as well. So
that's cool.
Yeah. I love the way he makes films. Like, he puts, "Hey, let me put you in something."
Right.
Like, he doesn't just do.
Yeah, right.
It's a cool way to do it, because he got me Taft Hartley'd, so
that's the SAG.
Yeah, SAG.
Guild.
That's what brought me in. That was my first gig, and so for him, I thank him. You know.
Yeah, right.
So,
Yeah, I was thinking about that because I showed my daughter. My daughter is 18 and had not seen Goodfellas, which I took as a failure on my part as a parent.
18 years of failure.
Yes.
Yeah. No, not really.
No, I guess 18 is probably a good age just to watch that
I think
movie.
so. I think you understand it a little bit more.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So we watched it, and one of the things that I forgot was what a huge part Scorsese's mother had in that movie. When they go to the Bronx and she makes them dinner at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And she was so good. She was so perfect.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Is it hit? Whose mom was in Casino?
Was that his mom as well?
Was that and she was in Kansas City?
I'll look it
and
up.
she was in Kansas City when they'd bring in the money, and she told him not to swear.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that might have been his mom as well. But it's one of those things. You can't get an actor to do that.
Yeah. Right. Right. She's and you know, he grew up on Mulberry Street in Little Italy, and
So good.
yeah, and I think De Niro grew up there as well, and so they knew they didn't have to pretend to be that. Everybody since then has tried to be what those guys are.
Yeah. What did
I
she
lived
think
there
of it?
15 minutes in. After the scene where he goes, "What am I, funny? I make you laugh?" She leans over at the end of that scene and goes, "This is the best movie I've ever seen in my life."
My God.
I mean, it's the opening, the cold open is they're driving in the car. You get some snappy, great dialogue. Pound, pound, pound. Pull the car over. Open the trunk. The guy's not dead. Joe Pesci stabs him. De Niro puts a few bullets in him. Cut to the opening credits. It's just like fucking. You're in. You're in.
What? Why can't we make films like that good anymore?
I think there's too many cooks in the kitchen these days. You know, I think there's
Very
too many
nice.
people that are just saying, we can't show that in the opening scene. It's too graphic or whatever. And I think there's also a lot of pressure to cast. Like, I think that I don't know how far along a lot of Scorsese's actors were when he first found them. Like when he first did like Mean Streets, which had De Niro was in it. What's the other guy's name?
I have no idea.
Anyway,
Can't even answer it.
but like I think there was a freedom to cast, like what you're talking about, and
Right.
just like finding real people and putting.
But
them
he's
in.
still able to do that. Did you see the HBO show about the music industry in the 70s?
Vinyl?
Vinyl.
No.
The way it's so good.
Yeah.
The way he and that's Ray Romano. You're just like,
Right.
oh, this is really good.
Yeah,
Like, This
yeah.
is really good. Of course, it doesn't last because it's too good.
Yeah,
Right. So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played golf with Ray last week.
Nice.
And he's a guy whose career has been like, you know, it's like he starts out as a sitcom actor, not a great one, becomes a great one,
Yeah.
and you know, like really was great by the end of it.
Yeah.
And he studied with Sally Johnson in New York.
That's
She was
funny.
like the teacher that all the
I
comics
think
went
I
to.
did do one class with her, but I don't know if I don't remember the cross eye.
Yeah.
I ended up going to another Sheila. I can't remember her.
Sheila Gray?
Sheila Gray, yeah.
Yeah, I went to
Yeah.
Sheila Gray also.
Yeah, it was-
Sheila Gray is famous because her father is a huge Broadway producer who's won many Tonys for shows that he's produced.
Really? I didn't know that.
And the proprietor and owner of Gray's Papaya.
That I knew.
Yes.
She bragged about that. She never bragged about the other part.
Yeah.
And all models in her classes.
Oh, yeah.
Just like, I was just like, what
Unbelievable.
is this?
Yes.
This is the class I should be in. And
She
yeah.
did a class that I was in, and then we paired off with partners.
Mm-hmm.
And my partner, she's like, Greg, you're going to work with, this is first day of class, hadn't even gotten to know anybody yet. Greg, you're going to work with Tatum. And I look over, Tatum O'Neal. Fucking Tatum O'Neal taking an acting class.
That's awesome.
And we used to get together and fucking read lines with each other.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. And then another time I went to her apartment for a private coaching, and we were not quite done, and there was a knock on the door, and she came back and she's like, "I'm sorry, we have to wrap it up." I'm like, what are you talking about? And I walk outside, and it's Mariah Carey with big fucking sunglasses on, waiting to come in. She bumped me. I got bumped by Mariah.
Again. She was she just made me feel comfortable, so I enjoyed
She's the
working
best.
with. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how I didn't remember her. Probably because I'm 51. I didn't remember her last name. And I just haven't seen her forever.
Yeah.
But she was so good. And was it CCAT Studio? Was that where you'd go for classes?
On 79th Street?
And over on the West
Broadway?
side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 79th and Broadway, right across from Grace Papaya.
Yeah.
Across the street.
Yeah. She was so funny.
But that's the thing is like, we're both married now, but like to be single, I just look at guys that are complaining that they can't meet girls. Take an acting class and then go to a yoga class. That's all you got to do.
Never thought about a yoga class.
Yoga class. They have good bodies. They care about themselves. They're at peace.
I have an older friend that told me he was walking down the street one day and this hot actress, and I'm blanking on her name. Good, this is good podcast. I'm blanking on everybody's name, but I'm gonna have to get my memory checked after the show. So she walks by, and he's like, "Holy crap, where's she going?" He noticed she's got a yoga mat.
Yeah.
And he just goes and buys a yoga mat, goes to the yoga class, ends up in her class all the time.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he just started going there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, really? He goes, yoga classes, man.
Yoga classes.
Man.
And it's like, you just think about the mindset. I mean, yoga is a meditation.
Mm-hmm.
You are empowering yourself. You're finding your center. And it's like, you're going to meet people that are like, I forget about the hot body. Let's not forget about the hot body, but forget about the hot body.
Incredible, man. Great shoes.
I can't stop thinking about the hot body.
So good, the body.
But the brain and the mind and the spirit, but the body. God. Down, dog. All right, everybody stick your ass in the air in front of the person in front of you.
Yeah, why do the guys always get the back row?
You got to be in the front row, right? So you can look between your legs.
Yeah. Oh, I don't even stretch.
Oh, you do an up dog. Yeah. You do a prairie dog.
Yeah, I do. That's that dumb look on my face. Making sure my head doesn't get chopped off while I'm peeking. But acting classes, I've always said, like any guy that's complaining, and I also, girls, I think need to do the same thing. Find something about a guy, like the type of guy that they want, that they do things. Go to a sailing class. Go to and find where they are.
Do jujitsu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want a meathead, yeah. So no, jiu-jitsu is more or less meathead, right?
Yeah, I think it's more. It's a chess match. It's always described to me as it's the chess of martial arts.
Yeah, but we have a single friend, and she complains. I'm like, you never go to these places. You meet them on the internet,
right?
And then you wonder why they're a loser,
right?
And not that nobody can find somebody on the internet, but less chance, I would say,
right,
of a compatible person.
How'd you meet your wife?
I met her through a friend I did a movie with.
No shit.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
What does she do for work?
She's an occupational therapist.
Nice.
Yes.
I always say, like, when you're a comedian, you need somebody with the most grounded, normal job to make it work. Mm-hmm. So she's like a 9-to-5er. 9 to 5, deals with a lot of special needs kids, but her specialty is feeding. So she just tells me to shut up a lot. Yeah.
Shut up. You have nothing wrong with you. Shut up. I love it. I love that. I love that strong personality in my life.
Right.
Yeah. Your wife she's in the business, right?
Well, no, she worked for Julia, and then she worked in producing indie films and stuff. But then once we had a baby, she didn't work for 18 years, and then she just got back into it. And now she's a postnatal doula. So after women have their baby, she helps them with the breastfeeding. And
your wife might know my wife. My wife is an expert. No, I don't know if she does breastfeeding stuff.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I always go through the training books.
I love it. She every so often she'll be on courses online, and I'll just walk in. She has this fake little pillow that's a nipple, and I'm like, just turn into a 7-year-old instantly.
I know.
Oh my goodness.
Titties!
If I move the Sears magazine this way, I might be able to see it a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm not a fetish guy, but I have to say, if a woman is on a park bench breastfeeding, I will stop.
So are you.
Yeah. And there's room on that bench.
Hello. No, my wife's an expert.
I'm just doing some research.
Trying to help.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So
Yeah.
where is she from? She's not Canadian, is she?
She's from Virginia.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
So Cape Charles, Virginia.
Cape Charles. That sounds
Yeah.
very kind of plantation-like.
We own a house out there that is on a road called Plantation Way.
No
And
shit.
I'm like, all right, does anybody want to say anything about this? Why would you change it?
Yeah. Can we saw down some of these low-hanging limbs on
Yes.
Plantation Road?
Oh, God. I'm so happy there's no trees.
Wow. So you got a house in Virginia.
Yeah, it's I found a place here in Long Beach that I love, that's on the water.
Nice.
That we pay zero for, basically, And I'm like, we still want to own a house. I'm not going to be able to own that place because it's insanely expensive. But
Yeah.
for whatever reason, the people have taken to us and just basically let us live there. right?
Nice.
So we bought a house out there as well.
And how often do you go there?
Probably about 3 times a year. My mother-in-law lives in it. My wife goes out a little bit more. The summers are insane out there. I'm
So
sure.
you go for a few weeks in the summer?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
It's a different sunburn.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It's serious.
Yeah.
And those waves, are you near the ocean?
Yeah. More near the, yeah. So, and it's
sounds amazing.
It's in a bay kind of thing. So there's waves don't crash. Like we get good crashing waves out here, but
Yeah.
out there, but it's that salt water is different out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
and the in-laws own clam and oyster farms.
No shit.
Yeah.
So you eat a lot of clams and oysters?
I don't at all.
Oh, you don't
Nope,
like it?
No, that's our feeding time that we work with.
That's your way?
That's our feeding time we work with the occupational therapy. No, too jiggly for me.
This feels like I'm swallowing a load. I'm not into
exactly. Why? This reminds me of being sent away to boarding school.
it. Yeah.
I don't like it.
Well, that's nice. How long you been married for?
10 years.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
No kids. I don't think we're doing it. Maybe adopt, but
Okay.
it's one of those things you're like, what do you know?
You want to adopt my daughter?
She's not seen enough movies.
I just figured she's 18, so like the hard work's done.
The hard work.
Now it's just like they come visit you and take care of you when you get old. That's when you adopt.
That's what my wife says. We have to put in a clause to one of my nieces that has to take care of us if they want the house.
That's right.
So I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah.
So it's weird. It's a weird game all the time, aging, right? Which was the easiest part of having a child? The beginning?
There's
Or was it, were you just stressed the whole time?
It's almost like it's like our jobs. Like when if you're somebody that you're a union worker, you're a pipe fitter, you fucking show up for work, you get your hands dirty, you don't think all day. Time flies and it's done. That's what it's like having a baby. And then when you have a teenager, it's like us. Way too much time on our hands because they're out or they're isolating in their room, and you're thinking too much and you're worried too much. That's what it's like having a teenager. You don't have to do that much, but you move to a zone defense where you're trying to avoid major pitfalls.
Oh, you're just trying to avoid things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of happy that I don't have to have a child. But at the same time, I love, all my friends that have kids. I love hearing their stories. But then you said the zone defense. I'm just like, I don't know how well I deal with that.
Yeah.
Like we have 3 dogs, right?
Yeah.
So I walk them every so often, all 3 together, and that is just a shit show. And I'm just like, I don't know how people do this with kids.
Right.
If these dogs are doing this,
Yeah.
how do you do it?
It's amazing. When I see young parents with young kids, I just think, I fucking did that? What? I don't know that. I didn't know I could do that. You know, you just like, it's a challenge that you have to step up and meet, or you don't have to step up and meet. Like I was thinking about like Father's Day's coming up. Like,
what am I getting?
Well, what am I getting? But no, I think about like being a father is kind of a volunteer job because we throw the sperm in and now the woman is like, you're it. Right. You're going to carry this motherfucker. I can take off.
Yeah.
I really, and in nature, most guys do take off.
Right.
But you stick around. And I think it's almost like there's something about it that you take as a challenge as a man. Where you go like,
I like that. I like that. I think a lot more guys should realize it's a challenge. You think you can do this? You're too big of a pussy not to.
Right.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So
too big of a pussy. I don't know.
Did you have a good father?
I had a great father.
Yeah.
Still around.
Canadian dads are the best. You never hear Canadians complain about their fathers.
A couple times.
I guess maybe some of them drink too much.
Yeah, some of them drink too much.
Yeah.
Not beer, it's hard alcohol. Drive them to hockey practice.
At 5 a.m.
Yeah, 5 a.m. I was just like, if I was a cop in a hockey town, I'd just wait outside the rink at 5 when they're dropping them off at 5 a.m. and just pick them all up for drunk driving.
Were there ever fights in the stands among parents?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I remember Dwayne Horner's dad getting on the ice and walking across the ice to beat the shit out of the ref with his cowboy boots on. I'm just like, oh, this
no.
I was like, this is going to be interesting. Another time, a couple years older than us, I'm guessing it was probably about 6 years older than us because we'd hear this story all the time about the Brown family. Their dad shot the tires off the bus of the Prince Rupert team.
The opposing team?
Yeah, they came to town and he went out and got a shotgun and blew their tires off their bus. Now you're fighting us all. So, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
My dad's great. My dad's he's 84. He's got the beginning of Alzheimer's.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's
sounds
shitty.
Like you do too, based on his interview.
I know. I was just thinking. I know nobody's name. Terrified.
Well, you are. I mean, that's a real thing. The anxiety of wondering if you've got it. You're gonna live with that now, knowing that your dad has it.
And you don't know. So I watched Wipeout last night. I couldn't sleep.
Which one's Wipeout?
Wipeout is the obstacle course.
Oh, the TV show.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure. John Henson used to host it.
That is CTE-ville way more than any sport I've ever seen. They're just getting
CTE-ville?
CTE, like just their brains.
Oh,
just the way they're getting smacked around.
Right.
I've seen a girl's neck bend the way I've never seen it.
When they run from big ball to big ball, sometimes they're going head first into the next ball, and their neck snaps back,
dun, dun.
And then they fall 20 feet into cold water.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
It really is.
I'm like, how are they getting? How many signatures, first of all, do you have to sign to get on there? And for $50,000, that isn't going to cover your medical.
No.
Yeah.
No, I went to Henson. I went to college with Henson, so he invited me to a taping one day.
No.
And we stood out there, and and my kids were there, and it was so much fun because on one of them they had the crew throwing snowballs. It was part of the challenge.
I think that's the one I watched last night.
Oh, they were throwing snowballs?
A winter one?
Yeah, there's a winter one.
Yeah.
So the water was like 42 degrees. They're running in bathing suits across balls while we whip fucking snowballs at their heads, and they fall into the freezing water. And oh my God.
And it didn't look like the snowballs were that far away.
No, we were right there. And they were ice balls. They were not soft snow.
It's just danger.
Yes.
Yeah.
But most of them are like triathletes and like ex-military.
Oh, not these people I watched.
No?
No.
Yeah.
No. She mixes paint. And then they're just bodies. And she's just like, oh, I think I hurt myself. Oh, I can do it. And then she's like, oh, I wonder how she didn't make it through. Straight into a wheelchair.
Well, you can paint from a wheelchair.
Yeah. I guess she wasn't taking too much away from herself. It's funny though. You think about things that you did to your head when you were a kid.
Yeah.
I remember getting kicked in the head with a skate one time. The fact that I can remember those things, though, pretty great.
I can remember getting knocked out once playing hockey on it because I grew up near a lake, so we used to play lake hockey. And just falling over, you go over backwards so fast on skates, and I slammed the back of my head, and I was unconscious for a while.
That slam of the back of the head is just terrifying.
Yeah.
Like whenever you see a fight and a guy drops on cement and he hits the back of his head, you're
Right.
like, just the sound of it.
Right. No, I just saw a guy get sentenced. It was in the news today. Some guy just got in a fucking fight outside a bar, punched a guy. Guy went down, hit his head, dead. Now this guy's in jail for 50 years.
Think about it. You got to think about it.
Yep.
You I tweeted the other day, when you leave your house with a gun, you're on offense.
Mm-hmm.
And some people were arguing with me. I'm like, no. When you have a gun, you don't try to find another way out.
Yeah.
If you don't have a gun, you try to find another way out.
Yep.
So now you're on offense, no matter how hard you're trying to say you're not on defense. You're
Right.
on defense.
So
I feel it's the same way. And being our age now and being 24 is a completely different testosterone anger, you know? So you got to do everything to not do something silly.
Just don't give yourself that option. Yeah.
And punching a guy, you don't know who he is. You don't know how he's going to fall.
Right.
And it's just...
You also don't know if he's got 3 friends that are going to then stomp you.
Yeah.
Stomping's a big thing now. People are stomping.
Stomping.
Yeah, the group of people stomping on your head.
Yeah, just a group of people just, yeah.
You been in any fist fights?
Not in a while. Yeah. Just
Mostly on the ice.
Mostly on the ice. A couple here and there outdoors. I
should describe Ian if you don't know him, by the way.
5'1".
I'm guessing you're 6'2".
6'3", 270, out of shape. Perfect. Take me now, boys.
We got to get a hockey game going again. Speaking of being out of shape, have you played lately?
I skate every so often. I'll go to Vegas and help my buddy coach.
Oh.
Yeah, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we got to get that pickup game going again out in, what was that place?
Burbank?
The Pickwick?
Yeah.
Burbank?
Yeah, that was fun.
That was fun. It was super low contact. Nobody was trying to be a hero.
Guys that couldn't skate. And
Bill Burr was out there on his ankles.
Just loving. He's just like, he's one of those guys that has taken his success and done what you should do with it. Enjoy yourself.
He played drums in Madison Square Garden before his show.
Right.
With the band.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff.
He bought a vintage truck and he plays with it.
Yeah. Yeah, fast cars.
Helicopters. He's flying helicopters.
One of my favorite jokes that he does is, I bought this car. I couldn't afford it when I was 21.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, it's great.
Right.
It's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Have you bought anything stupid?
I love cars, and I have a fixation on Mustangs, classic Mustangs.
Really?
And I never bought one, and I feel like I'm an incomplete man because I didn't. And Joe Rogan gives me a lot of shit that I won't buy the Mustang. And part of me keeps waiting and going like, well, why don't you just fucking buy it for me?
Yeah.
Because he could buy me a Mustang.
Should be a gift for
Yes.
Yeah. He could afford to give everybody that is a guest on his show.
Yes.
Every day, a Mustang.
So I drive a Prius.
What's wrong with it?
My wife has a Subaru.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know. I feel like I'm going to have a Mustang before I die. And I don't care that I'll be the old guy. I'd like to get a newer model. Maybe a couple years old.
Nice.
I mean, ideally, I would like to get like a 68 fastback. Mm-hmm. You know, a GT 350 or something really cool.
Right.
But
would you go with like a Cobra? Like
Shelby.
Yeah. There's a guy, when I first started doing comedy, he'd do amateur nights, and he got a part in the movie Alive. And he got paid a ton of money, I think $100,000, but got cut out of the movie because he ended up gaining weight on the set.
No way. That's the one where people eat each other, right?
Yeah, and he's gaining weight. And people...
He really enjoys human flesh.
Yeah,
Jesus.
That guy's doing very well on this plane accident.
Did he find a stash of peanuts in the cockpit?
Just looking out the window. What you doing out there, guys? Why would you eat that?
Boy, he ate the whole body. He's picking away at the brain, everything.
Yeah. So but he got money.
Yeah.
And instead of saving it, he bought a Shelby 68 fastback.
He did.
And he just got himself into so much trouble with that. Like his speeding tickets were insane. And I think it ended up getting taken away from him. But
yeah, I mean, I've always felt like my father was in entertainment, and I saw him have lean years. I saw my dad not have a radio show for a while and for years. Mm-hmm. But we always had money because he was really smart. When he made it, he put it away, he invested it.
Right.
He didn't spend it like an asshole. He drove Lincoln Town cars, but that was kind of he thought he was a mafia guy. And but so I always like followed his example.
Did you learn to drive on a Lincoln?
Caprice Classic.
Oh, still a big car.
It's still a big car. It's a 4-door V8, yeah.
Yeah, and not like a lot of play in that.
There's no feel. There's no feel. It's just freewheeling.
You parallel park that thing?
Parallel park that bad boy. And
impressive.
Yeah, it was. And then actually, I shouldn't say, once my dad got older, he started to make a lot of money, and then he bought a Corvette. He got an L82, which was like one of the biggest engines they ever made. So
he put away, and then he got to a certain point where like, hey, we're fine now.
Yeah.
I can do something.
Right.
Good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, good guy. Like, that's how my dad was for our family.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be there, so I'm not taking this job out in town, which might make me a little bit more money, but I'll work a little bit extra in town and make sure I can go to your hockey games instead of going to camp. So
wow.
my dad was a mechanic. So,
he was a mechanic.
Yeah.
What kind of mechanic?
Heavy duty. So, tractors and big trucks and, so he worked for the Department of Highways when I was a kid.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's the job I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Work with your hands all day. He was just probably a very happy guy, right?
He was a great guy, yeah.
Yeah.
He could ride a bicycle to work with a big basket on the front of it.
Get out of here.
Oh, he used to make me laugh. I was
That's
just like,
hilarious.
I'd never tell him it would make me laugh. He just, his big work boots on it. And he'd wear cutoff shorts. It was just great. I'm like, that's my dad. My
dad is not gay. He is a very hard worker.
He looked like he was off to the club.
He used to play Wham on his radio.
He doesn't have to start until noon, but he's leaving at 8 a.m. So he can get 4 hours at the dance club before he goes into work.
Dad, did you work on a tractor that had glitter on it today? Because you're covered in glitter.
The oil goes into the pan, not onto your body.
That's awesome. But I don't know. I wonder what my kids will say about me. That's the other thing about when you're a parent. I'm at the stage now where my kids are both in college. Mm-hmm. So you don't really...
Both girls?
No, my son is he'll be a senior in college next year, and then my daughter will be a sophomore. So it's like I've done the work. Uh-huh. I've handed in my final exam, but I haven't got my grade back yet. I got to wait till they get out of school and see how they do.
Yeah.
Then I'll know how I did as a parent.
Does it take a couple years, too, after they've been out of school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple years where they're not going to know what they're going to do.
Yeah. Do they kind of know what they want to do now?
My son is majoring in anthropology, which is the study of how to live off your father for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
But I think it's either communications or anthropology. Neither one is going to make any money. But I have a dear friend.
This is the first time I've seen disappointment on your face. I just got my marks back.
Well, it's so funny because when I was in college, like I was an English major, and it's not like that was going to lead to anything. And my father supported me. I mean, college, as you know, is a lot of fucking money. And then you see your kids go off, and you're cutting these checks, and you see their classes, and he's taking fucking, improv. And like,
like, you can do that at the upright citizen grade for less money.
Right. And so it's hard. I really bite my tongue a lot, and I just let him do what he wants to do. But I have a friend in Chicago. He goes to college in Chicago. And so I got a friend there who is a dear friend, and she happens to work at a company, and she oversees the internships. Mm-hmm. And so he wants an internship next year. So he's going to have dinner. She's going to take him out to dinner next week.
Nice.
And she's like, if I can't get him a job, paid internship, I can get him one somewhere else.
Well, that's awesome.
So that'll be great.
That's great.
And I just feel good that I can do that for him.
That's a nice thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a nice thing.
My
Did you
daughter.
have
I've
anybody
given
do
up.
that for you? 'Cause
Well,
I know
my dad used to.
How old were you when your dad died?
24, 25.
So he's able to do, so.
A little bit when I was first starting out in stand-up, he was a member of the Friars Club, so he introduced me when I was a senior in high school. We had a thing called.
I hate you guys.
What?
You guys that grew up in that. Like, I grew up in the middle of nowhere. My dad was a member of the Friars Club.
Yeah.
Just jealous.
I know. It was pretty ideal. And so when I was a senior in high school, we had a thing called intercession, I think it was called, and it was 2 weeks where you're in your senior year where you're supposed to explore what you might want to do for a living and do an internship in it. And so I wanted to be a comedy writer. And so my father hooked me up with Alan Kirschenbaum, who was a big showrunner, and then Alan Zweibel, who was one of the original writers for SNL. He wrote everything Gilda Radner ever did, and he was the big guy. So I tagged along with him for a week. And I wrote a TV show there was a cable access station in town, and I wrote and produced an episode for it, and it was like, my father knew another comedian named Freddie Roman, who's a big Borscht Belt comic. Do you remember Freddie Roman?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he hooked me up with Freddie Roman, and so it was great. So yeah, he was really excited. I'm sorry that he died so young because I think he would enjoy watching me do stand up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sounds like he already was.
Yeah, he was very
enjoy your
proud.
career, yeah?
Yeah, he was very proud.
That's awesome.
But I'm glad he's not around to see how it's going now.
Two guys just sitting in a room beside a street.
I mean, he was a real radio guy. He had a real studio with producers and engineers and PAs. And
He'd just come in here and blow smoke and walk out. Gross.
It is pretty pathetic, but we are videotaping. Is the thing still videotaping?
Yep, it's still going.
Okay, good.
Looks like it is.
Yeah.
Okay, I like it.
So you want to talk about the playoffs at all? The playoffs is we got the finals, the Stanley Cup Finals right now.
So, yeah. So I enjoy the Final Four. I enjoy the first round. I don't enjoy the second round. And then I enjoy the finals.
Second round is just too many teams?
No, it's not enough teams, and I'm just like, it goes from that real excitement of the beginning of the playoffs to the second round.
Yeah.
And then this Final Four, you're like, yes, this is the cream.
Right.
And then the final two, you're like, oh, Tampa's winning.
Yeah. Well, it's so funny that the Rangers won the first two games because it was like, what's happening here? Yeah. And you just realize home ice advantage is huge. And
also, don't you think that coming off a 7-game series, you're still riding that wave?
Right.
Like, I believe that.
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you like series or do you like round robin tournaments?
Interesting. So elimination versus...
Yeah, so one game, just round robin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I like series because you get to know the teams. I think the playoffs go on for too long.
You think it's too long?
I think hockey playoffs go on for what, 2 months?
It's supposed to be a month and a half, but 2 months.
2 months is a long time for playoffs.
I think regular season should be shortened up a little bit, and then you're fine with the playoffs.
Yeah, because you're going from what, December until June?
September, like October, late October.
That early? Oh my God.
And now June, and I don't know if you've seen, I don't know if you follow any, like on your social media, if you have any hockey things that you follow.
No.
They'll put out, hey, this happened on such and such a date. Like 3 weeks ago, they're saying, the Detroit Red Wings won the Stanley Cup on this day.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, why are we going so long?
Right.
Yeah. I would like to see 2 playoffs and shorten the season.
Yeah.
So halfway through, there's kind of a round robin tournament where if you win that tournament, you're automatically into the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Okay.
And then because I think it's exciting. Like playoffs is, regular season becomes too drawn out for me.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think we have the two. Are they the 2 best goalies in the league?
Absolutely.
Yeah, playing against each other. It's amazing.
You're a Rangers fan, right?
Yeah.
That team's great.
Yeah, the kids.
Yeah. And now you have many years of that.
Right.
And that coach there is awesome.
Right.
Yeah. So my buddy played with him in Detroit, and he's just a good guy.
Yeah.
So, and my buddy lives in Vegas, so we'd see them every so often. And he got screwed over in Vegas, and he got screwed over in Miami.
Oh.
Because he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
So
right. No, I was a Rangers fan when my dad was a fan. So his radio station, you're gonna hate this too. His radio station covered the Rangers, the Giants, and the Mets. You know, they played the games because it was AM radio.
And let me guess, you used to go to games.
We used to have any tickets we wanted for any game.
Slap, clap, push.
So we used to go to Rangers games when it was like Phil Esposito and Dave and Don Maloney. Remember the Maloney brothers? Barry Beck. And so it was...
Who was the goaltender then?
Oh, God.
It was after
Davidson?
Was it John Davidson
John
still?
Davidson, yeah. Who I don't think had any teeth. I think he might have been around when like goalies just didn't wear masks or something.
But those masks were eggshells.
Yeah, they were
It didn't
nothing.
matter. If you got cranked in it,
Yeah.
you're like,
It's like, are we doing a Kimbo? What was the play with all the masks in it?
Yeah. Kamuchi, I know what you
It would have been a great joke if we had our brains.
Back 10 years ago, we would have had that immediately.
La Mikado? Anyway. Okay. All right, I got some questions for you.
Oh, okay. Even the door. That was me leaving that first line. No, you don't.
I want to ask you if you could. These are some standard questions I ask each of my guests. This is a new segment I do.
Okay.
Because you have a podcast and it's highly, and I'm going to do it. You've asked me to do it.
Yes.
I'm not saying I'm going to do it without having asked me. That would be presumptuous.
No, I've asked you to do it.
Yes.
And you said you would. I just have taken a break, and I'm about to start up again. So.
It's called Around the Bag, and you have a lot of rounds to it. There's a lot of rules. There's a lot of structure. It sounds very suffocating. So I'm looking forward to it.
It's not suffocating at all. It's just stupidity at its finest moments.
Here's the questions I like to ask my guests. If you die, isn't that funny that I said that?
I love it. I love that you think I've got that kind of power.
When you die, who do you want to give your eulogy?
Oh, man. Somebody that doesn't know me.
Tim Robbins.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Oh, that means I'm going to die before Tim Robbins. I don't like this. I've never even thought about that.
Yeah. That's why I asked.
That's a really good question.
Hits people hard.
Now I'm going to have to go home and tell my wife I will fill out those life insurance papers. Yeah.
That sounds like, well, if say you died today, is your dad still alive?
Oh, yeah. So I would say my dad.
Your dad, right?
It's perfect because he's got Alzheimer's. So.
He can tell stories about anybody. Yeah. And I remember when Ian fought in the Iraqi war and he was a hero.
So my uncle had it as well. And he would pick up, like there'd be a story on TV about somebody mountain climbing. He goes, hey, remember that time we climbed Everest?
What a great disease.
Yeah.
People never look at the upside of Alzheimer's.
Never. You got like, oh, that's great.
Yes, and he believes it.
Yeah.
And think of the pride that gives him. That sense of accomplishment. He
but
didn't
he'd have a little piece from a real story that they did. And Grant went over there. Oh, that was not Everest.
Alzheimer's, your ticket to success.
You're not bullshitting anymore.
He's not a liar. He has Alzheimer's.
But my answer, I think my cousin Grant, is because, and the reason he's my cousin that we don't see each other for years, but we pick up like immediately, like no time has passed.
Where does he live?
He lives in Malaysia right now.
No.
Yeah.
What's he do there?
He's
a doctor.
He's a doctor. Oh, we wish he was a doctor. He's in marketing, and I don't know why it's out of there.
Wow.
But his son is a crazy good swimmer and is swimming for Scotland because his mom's from Scotland. And so he's on the Commonwealth team, which is just below the Olympics. So,
oh, shit.
Yeah, it's very impressive.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going to try out for the Olympics?
I think he is, yeah. So
maybe he can do the one in Los Angeles. When is that?
That would be 2026, right?
2028, 2026,
is it 2020?
something like that.
Just enough time.
I know I'm going to rent my fucking house out and go to Europe for about 2 weeks.
I love that.
Tell you that.
I am out of this shithole.
Do you think you'll stay for the Olympics or rent your house
We'll
out?
be renting a little bit.
Yeah.
And they're building the Olympic pool right in our neighborhood.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Well, we got all the volleyball courts down here on the beach. That's where they're going to be playing them. So my house is right
You
there.
can rent this out.
I'm going to rent out this office.
To a family of 40, like that old school New York, chopping into four.
Right.
Yeah.
German tourists, and they'll construct like a nice little subdivision.
Right. We like it. We've seen all the sports. That's a good question that's going to spin me out for the rest of the day. Thanks.
Good. What did you learn about yourself during the pandemic?
That I love being around my wife and at home. Little embarrassed to say that life was living me. I wasn't living life before I needed to say no more to things.
Right.
Yeah. And I didn't realize how powerful no was.
Yeah. No feels fucking good.
Yeah.
That's Warren Buffett's big thing. Say no to almost everything.
Really?
Yep.
Say no to Sunday shows is what I really learned.
I don't do Sunday shows, and when I'm in town, I don't do Saturday night because I go out with my wife on Saturday night. That's our date night.
Nice. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a really good one.
Saying no feels good. Yeah, for sure. I mean, which doesn't mean like, you want to be a mentor to young comics if you can, so if it's a situation where you're doing good, that's fine. But if it's a situation where it's like some guy's got a room an hour outside of town and it's low money,
right?
Just, you don't need to do that.
You don't need to do that. And you need to grind, but there's a point where some things aren't grindable.
Yeah.
And doing shows on a Sunday for 70 people is not helping you out. It's just, you're coming off, and I don't know how you are, but I do okay on Thursday. I do well on Friday and Saturday with numbers, right?
Right.
And then if you do a Sunday show, I'm never going to do well.
Right. It's like a bad dessert after a fine meal.
Right. And it's just, so now I'm disappointed. You're going to tell me my numbers have dropped.
Yep.
And the staff is going to remember me for not selling many tickets, even though we did well on the weekend.
Right. Now, there's no worse feeling on a Sunday night is like you're walking in and like 3 waitresses have their coats on and are walking out.
Yeah. Apologize. Didn't mean to get you fired. Sorry.
Sorry. Meant to fill the back half of the room. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Meant to fill the front. Apologize.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's a good answer. Yeah, it's funny because I spent so much time with my wife, and my kids came home from college because they were, and it was like the family was back together again, which was kind of nice because we went from empty nesters to like, oh, nest is full again.
Right.
And now, as of this year, we're empty nesters again, and I fucking
miss them.
Yeah, I do. They're home for the summer. Well, one's home for the summer. The other one's going to Cuba for a couple weeks.
Getting espionage done.
What's the hackiest bit you ever did?
Oof. So many. So many. Oh. I did a joke about anal sex that I'm not proud of.
Yeah, what was it?
It was, if you're going to have anal sex, do it in a cemetery because people are scared and they tighten up more.
And they tighten up more? Nothing wrong with that joke.
Okay, all right. I was always like,
that's not haggy at all.
Okay. Then I'm fantastic. No, I'm sure if you know me, the people are just laying them down. We've seen this.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just.
Well, people should know your stand-up. If they don't know, I mean, most people who listen to the podcast know you, and you've been on before. But your stand-up is very improvisational. You're one of the best crowd work guys in the business. And also just off the top of your head.
That's nice coming from a guy that does a lot of crowd work. So,
well, thank you.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Do you get mad at people that call it crowd work? Are you like, I'm just writing. That's all I'm doing. We're just writing in the moment.
Yeah, I sort of feel like I watch people do it well. I think it's like anything in comedy. There's some people that are hacky crowd work people where they say the same bullshit all the time, or
you force them into that.
Or they're so aggressive. They're so fucking abrasive to the audience, and it gets laughs, but I sort of feel like I feel exhausted and anxious watching it. And I feel like it's not fair to the crowd to be that aggressive.
I don't like when I see guys that are pushing people that obviously don't want to talk to them.
Right.
Like I try to be aware enough that if somebody doesn't want to talk to me, I move on.
Yes. Yes.
So.
No, I see you and Harlan Williams as working with the crowd.
Nice.
Harlan is really good too.
He's so out there.
Because when he talks to them, he is like, he listens, and that's what people. That's what I say to young comics. If you want to do crowd work, all you have to do is listen.
Yeah. Don't have the answer prepared in your head.
Right.
That's like a lot of guys already have the answer.
Yeah.
Why even ask them the question if you're just going to say a joke that you wanted?
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah.
First time I met Harlan, I just, was starting out in comedy, and I was in Toronto, and I was emceeing a night with a bunch of comics on it, and I'd never heard of him before because it was, he wasn't big at all. But I go, what would you like me to say about you? He goes, tell him I'm a big bucket full of golf balls. And I just remember, I think I love you. I'm just like looking at this guy.
Oh no, you walk up to him at the Comedy Store and he's always like, he'll see somebody and be like, hey Ellen, have you met my son Greg? This is my son Greg, Ellen. He's the best.
And his place is gorgeous. Have you ever been up to his place?
No.
It just overlooks LA.
Really?
And he's got this art room that's just insane.
Damn.
He does all
his
that
art that he does himself?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, because he's done a couple books, right? So yeah, he's so talented.
Wow.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Jesus. I gotta get him
He's
back
one of
on
those
the show.
guys that you're just like, I love your success.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're road dogs. We go on the road. We enjoy it. We don't do, shit gigs.
Right.
We're very lucky.
I think we're very lucky.
Yeah.
I think this is a dream. I was supposed to go work in a gold mine. So it's all gravy.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I was working in a gold mine. That's how I was making my money to get to college, to be able to become an actual engineer, to work in a gold mine, to take gold out of holes.
Really?
Yeah, I wanted to. I was working in explosives, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to do that and implosions. I was like, it'd be neat to take buildings out of cities and not ruin. But it was one of those pipe dreams.
Yeah.
Pipe bomb dreams. Because I didn't grow up in the city. I grew up near Alaska. So
yeah.
A city was a dream for me.
Right.
So
what's the biggest piece of gold you ever found?
I just blew stuff up.
Oh.
Yeah. They found a lot of gold though where I work. So
yeah.
We'd blow up the sides of mountains and build roads and set up blasting patterns, and yeah, it was great.
You ever get hurt?
No, a friend of mine got hurt really bad though.
Oh.
The guy I played hockey with when I was a kid, just the explosives went off a little harder than they were supposed to, and he got thrown and took out his eyes.
Oh,
yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, it's amazing how dangerous things are, at times. So
right.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. And that happened when we were young, and he's still kicking around kind of thing. So
right.
Yeah.
Was he wearing goggles?
No. I'm sure he wasn't even wearing safety boots. I don't know.
It was just an explosion that was bigger than it was supposed to be.
Yeah. Well, I remember jumping. The guy that I work with would every so often, he'd like, get under the truck. I put too much in by mistake, and rocks would fly by us. You know?
Wow.
So yeah, it was fun. It was so fun. But looking on it, back at it, I was like, oh, that was really dangerous.
Yeah.
Like, I started out at the bottom. I was a swamper is what I was. So I would carry the dynamite into the trucks from the magazines. So that was my job. And then I would sit in the truck and drive with the guy wherever we were going, and I'd unload the dynamite. And I don't know if you've ever been around nitroglycerin, but it is the stinkiest stuff, and it does weird shit to you. Like, it opens up your blood vessels, I guess. I passed out a couple times.
No kidding.
Yeah, it was just, But the guy would, while we were delivering dynamite, would smoke hash the whole time we were driving.
No shit.
Yeah. I'm just like... Okay.
Fuck.
Yeah. I'm like 19 years old or 20 years old.
Uh-huh.
You don't say anything of that. You don't say, hey man, my life's on the line.
Right.
This is kind of funny.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think was there any damage to people's ears from being around the explosions?
No, I remember putting on headgear. But it was cool. It was like 20 years old and blowing shit up. And they gave me my own pickup truck.
Uh-huh.
That was like, right off the assembly line, and like it was I'd go up all these logging roads and mining roads, just destroying this truck. It was so much
cool.
It was so cool. And we worked in a camp which was along the Alaska border.
Uh-huh.
So we go in, and it's the only unmanned, and I think it's still unmanned border crossing. So you'd go into Alaska and then you'd end up back in Canada. And there's a town called Hyder there. And
what province is this?
British Columbia.
Uh-huh.
So British Columbia and Alaska. So there's this little town, and it's got 3 bars, and they make their own alcohol, and it's just 101 proof, kind of like it. So you'd go there and party every night.
Yeah.
And then go back into the mountains.
And you'd sleep in the camp.
Yeah.
And who were the grunts there? Who were doing like the hard mining inside?
It was open pit mining, so we just keep digging down, just taking down these. And so there was really no grunts. It was guys all using scrapers and putting it into dump trucks and then taking it over.
So it wasn't like migrants.
No. It was pretty good work,
and it was good paying work.
Oh, it was insane paying work. Yeah. I was probably making close to $30 an hour in 1990.
That's amazing.
So that's what got me my money to go to school. But me being me, I didn't go to school. I was like, I want to try to be a comedian.
Yeah.
And not realizing I should still go to school. Because there was, from when I hear your story, I'm like, you knew people. Like, there was nobody in entertainment where I was from.
Yeah.
Like, some guys went off and played hockey, but there was nobody that went off and, like, did anything like that.
Yeah.
So there was no route for me. I had to figure out how to get there. So I did open mic in Vancouver, and it was on a contest, and I didn't win the contest. So I thought I was done. So I'm walking out the door, and the manager happened to say to me, hey, you should come back next week. And I was like, I can? Like, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I thought, like, well, it's like a Archie comic. You didn't make it. Move on, right? So if he hadn't have said that to me, I'd be working in mining.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Is that club owner still around?
No.
Yeah.
He's a dick.
He what?
He's turned out to be a dick.
Oh.
I mean, it was one of those towns where there's 2 clubs in this town, and you got to make a choice between which club you're going to work. And I'm just like, it just made me so sad. I'm like, that's not the way you do it, guys.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I've always heard bad things about how Canadian comedy clubs are run in terms of that there was a lot of that went on.
Yeah.
And it was all kind of owned by one company. Was it Yuck Yucks?
Yuck Yucks was one, and then there was a couple independents. And the one that I started out was called Punchlines, and it was in a gas town in Vancouver.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was, but I'm so happy that he said come back next week.
Well, listen, you got any dates you want to plug?
No.
I saw.
No.
So you got Raleigh Improv coming up this summer, and the Irvine Improv.
Yes, I got this weekend. I'm in Dallas at the Dallas Comedy Club. I don't know if you're working there, but you should probably work there. 'Cause it's 2 days in and out. Boom, pretty good money.
Okay.
And then next week I'm in Fort Wayne, Indiana, for 2 nights.
Wow.
At I don't even know the name of it.
Okay.
I should know it.
Doing
It'll be
a
on my
great
website.
job plugging your dates.
I know, I'm horrible.
By the way, your website does not have your dates on it.
Thanks. I talked to my wife about that last night. She said the exactly same. You don't have any dates on your fucking website. I'm like, what? She goes, I don't want to work forever, so hurry up and do something. That's a conversation. So, yes. And then I've Virginia Beach in August, and I got Raleigh.
Okay.
So.
Nice. Don't miss them. I really, from the heart, say this is a guy who you're going to see an original show. You fucking kill every time. Every
thanks,
time
man.
you're on a show at the Improv, you're the guy. I literally, at the end of the show, it's like you killed harder than anybody else.
Oh, thanks, man.
And it's a different show every time. So if you hated his last show, which happens, go see him again. It might be a better show
Give
this
him a
time.
different. Chances are you're going to hate him. Much respect to you. I've always been a big fan, and yeah.
Oh, thanks, man.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks for being on the show again. Yeah. All right, and also don't forget Around the Bag, new episodes coming soon on all the different channels, and then he's got a special that's called Conversations, which is available on iTunes and Amazon and all that stuff. Okay, we'll see you next time. God bless.